Greetings once more. We're back with another lesson on time. I'm Russ Hatfield here with my high-dimensional twin soul and member of Ashtar Command, Kara. This second lesson of 3 on time is from the commander of Hades Space channeling through Mark Rocker that we call Seeing Time from the Seventh Dimension. In this one, Omal gives one of his classic talks on time perceptions, but that isn't all. He explains how dimensional levels differ and how they are perceived. We'll look at how the second, third, and fourth dimensions interact to create reality. He also describes how he views time from alternate ways than just linear being a seventh dimensional being. We also get his best explanation of déjà vu. You can follow our online transcript at the link below of our homepage, centerforascension.org. Please subscribe if you want at the end of this lesson to be alerted to future channeling sessions, editorials from Kara and myself, and lessons from the Center for Ascension. And now, seeing time from the seventh dimension.
So how are you this evening?
I am doing well. I am a little disappointed that Munker and Ashtar Athena are not present.
Well, they're probably busy doing higher dimensional stuff.
Yes. It is something that even I have noticed that higher than myself, the dimensional beings work on a totally different time scale. And as I believe Leonidas pointed out, that a second can seem like an eternity, and a year can seem like a moment, a flash of light.
Well, wouldn't also the fact that they are higher dimensional beings be teaching with their actions as well as their words? For example, teaching us patience?
Yes, very, very likely.
And being able to understand, I suppose, have an openness of mind for those who
work on a different time scale.
Correct.
That is correct. That is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to lead you to the correct conclusion without leading you too hard.
Right. Yeah, and I've seen this before, especially with people like Sananda, where actions and are actually used more than phrases are.
Well, actions are a stronger learning tool.
Right.
On the higher dimensions, we can relay information in a nanosecond. The whole entire discussion that you had with Tia, and as far to this point with myself, I could relay to Corton, Sananda, Munker, Athena, anyone in a nanosecond.
But doesn't that you have hundreds of thousands of years available? And if you're passing on stuff in nanoseconds, does that kind of make things tough to watch go by? Smelling the roses kind of thing?
What is Leonidas' explanation? I just gave it to you.
Right, be able to sit there and smell the roses.
No.
Or they
No.
want teaching by example.
A second can seem like an eternity.
Right. Oh, that's right. So a nanosecond seems like 100 eternities.
No, a nanosecond is...
Or it's less than. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Must be a higher ethericness to it that I don't quite comprehend.
Yes, it seems to be alluding you to the fact that... name for the recording tonight? Time management.
Yeah.
As it seems to be a key issue that controlling and understanding that people work on different time scales, even on your planet. People look at things in different time ways.
True.
Tomorrow, I will take care of it tomorrow. I will take care of it next week. My investments will come in next year. In 10 years. In 50 years, I plan to be retired and 20 years is a long time. You are 38. My That is a long time. All these things are time management. Looking at time in a different way. The structure of the thought processes is very linear. It is not third dimensional. I don't mean third dimensional as in your space, your reality. I mean as in seeing things in a third dimensional way and thinking in a third dimensional way.
Right. Well, being around you and the others of Hidden Space have given us a lot more sense of time in the fact that when we deal with things like Atlantis or even your lifetime, we're looking back on history, big, huge chunks of history that can't even be conceived by just yesterday or the day before, and add on a million other days before that to get to that point.
Yes, correct.
Take a look at it in one big chunk.
A good example on how three-dimensional thinking works into everyday life. Okay. My hand is yours to move. Tell me where to move it.
Move it to your chest.
Okay. Tell me where to move it now.
On top of your other hand. Yeah.
Okay. It's moved across.
Right.
Okay. Now move it again.
Forehead.
Okay.
One more. Your left shoulder. Left shoulder.
Okay. Now, how did you move everything from its original start point? You started off very promisingly. You moved it down to the chest, to the other hand, to the left shoulder.
Forehead and left shoulder.
Forehead, left shoulder.
Right.
Now, what is all of that?
That is a linear movement of your hand.
That is all two-dimensional thinking.
Yeah.
Except for moving it down. Why not move it from here higher? Full extension of the arm. Why not move it diagonally down to the shoulder? Move diagonally to above the pelvis.
Well, because I suppose I see it as the hand needing to be on certain parts of your body to give it a certain definite place of being.
Yes, but it is a two-dimensional thinking
I
process.
see that now, yeah. Now that you point that out.
So everything is linear and two-dimensional in the thinking processes. Turning it into a third-dimensional thinking process is part of learning the management of time. The fact that timescales mean that thinking processes are different. For example, let us take a third-dimensional being. You have just pointed out admirably that they think linearly and two-dimensionally.
Sure.
If you were to ask Kiri, I am sure that Kiri would have a hand moving different heights and moving around at different angles and levels, which is three-dimensional thinking. Kiri is older. Kiri has the knowledge of her Akashic records. Kiri understands three-dimensional thinking. It is not just a third-dimensional thought pattern that limits the thinking processes. Individuals in a specific line of employment have to think in different ways. For example, take a pilot, a third-dimensional pilot. They are in a third-dimensional environment. If they go down, if they go up, if they go to the sides, it is all part of their thinking processes. And it is to do with their environment. Your environment, even though it is three-dimensional, is two-dimensional.
Yeah, based on linear experience.
Correct. You stand up, you are on a flat plane, you walk forward, you walk backwards, you walk from side to side. You are still dealing on a two-dimensional thought pattern. Experience and time changes that to going up, going down, going up diagonally, going down diagonally, and all the various different variations within that. If you were to draw a sphere around you, or create a sphere around you, and move that sphere through a three-dimensional world, and do with that sphere, with you in it, as you wish, then your thought processes would be limited to the experiences within that sphere and the movements they're capable.
True.
It is like a glass of water. It does not think of anything else but being a glass of water and all the movements thereof. If you look at things on your planet, they are very two-dimensional in their avenues of movement, backwards, forwards, side to side, various angles thereof. But if you were to look at the bird has to think three-dimensionally, up, down, side to side, backwards and forwards. So the environment plays an important role within the experiences. And time, again, plays within that. Yes, feline, you wish to talk. Okay, you wish to run. So you see how the thought processes change with environmental factors. And the environmental factors also work with time.
Well, now you mentioned time, but time is a fourth-dimensional reality.
Mm-hmm.
And we're speaking on second and third-dimensional realities. Where does the fourth-dimensional reality interact? And
because it is a linear action. One event follows another, going forward in a line.
But that's third-dimensional concepts of a fourth-dimensional reality.
Correct.
Which is presented in a two-dimensional reality.
Correct. So it dovetails in nicely.
True. So it depends on the dimensional reality you perceive things in, determines the dimensional reality that you are talking about.
That is correct. That, for me, I can look back in time. I can look forward in time. I can look to the sides.
Okay. Can we quickly just put a little emphasis on that part and how that's accomplished or what you see?
How do you mean? Looking to the sides?
Yeah.
Alternate realities.
Okay.
Alternate timelines. Alternate existences. Those are to the side.
Okay.
If you remember when we discussed time a while back,
oh yeah,
we explained it like a strand of string,
right,
intertwined with lots of other strands of string.
Yeah, it gives you a headache thinking about it.
Well, you may be. If you were to take all those strands and lay them out side to side, apart from the fact that it would go on indefinitely in either direction, you would be able to look to one side or the other side, to be connected and aware of those alternative existences, those alternative parallel universes running concurrently.
But the question is, and suppose this is a third-dimensional person talking about a two-dimensional reality, what difference does it make?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
You cannot move from one to another.
Well, that clears up that because I was Just wondering what purpose that could have for me. None whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
I understand the reality of it because you've explained it enough.
Yes.
But I never saw the purpose for needing that ability to see in those directions.
There really isn't a need to, except for the fact that some are ahead of others and some are behind of others. Now, when you look into the future, or people claim to look into the future that have a high accuracy rate, they are seeing things that are already happening on parallel universes that are ahead.
Would this explain déjà vu, possibly?
To a certain extent, yes.
Oh, well, that's a much better explanation than the one I just gave yesterday.
Okay, let us hear your explanation.
Well, my explanation was that you're standing on that string of line we talked about, and in front of you are all these millions and trillions of possibilities that could happen. And you subconsciously create for yourself one that you wish to happen. And it turns out to be exactly like the experience that you happen months later. But yours is much better because you see actually the parallel lifetime that actually is happening.
Correct.
Therefore, when it happens, but how'd you get on that parallel lifetime? Just particular change in your attitude or a decision that you made?
No, it is you are not changing paths. You're still on your path, you are still on your piece of string.
But you're viewing another path.
Correct. And you are getting a glimpse of it.
Good call. That's a way better explanation. I like that one.
I endeavour to please. But you are quite correct that the way at looking at things is very different. I look at things not as one following another, but certainly that is a way of looking at things, and that is a way that I do look at things from time to time. At present, I do not look at one thing following another. I am happy and surprised when one thing does follow another. It is no longer necessary for me to do so. You understand?
Which is quite a good point.
Yes, it is. It serves a very useful purpose.
Yes, absolutely. This is something that, like I say, has bothered me for 30 plus years. And you have given me the explanation in a minute. That I don't know. It clears everything up. It's like a light got turned on.
Yes, but those 30 plus years are but a blink of an eye.
Aye, true.
But yet, there again, they are also an eternity.
No, see, I see it as one package of time. 30 plus years is all basically just that set between one point and the point I'm at now.
That is linear thinking.
Correct. Now, how do I go beyond that? Take that 30 plus years and go beyond that to a third dimensional thought process on that space of time.
To tell you how to do it would take more time than if we could communicate the way that I do up here with other 7-dimensional and 8th-dimensional beings and higher, it would be explained now. Unfortunately, because it is a whole mindset and experience set, it would take a long time to explain. We could start right now, and we would not be finished by this time tomorrow.
Jeez. Okay, well, we'll hold off on that little explanation then.
But to give you a brick to start your building,
Okay.
think of other alternatives to something. Instead of thinking, if I put one step forward, the other step will follow, if I put one step forward, what happens?
An interesting problem or possibility you brought up, yes.
Okay, I put one step down on the ground. The ground pushes back on my foot, pushing up. I apply pressure. A pressure is applied back.
Interesting.
That now puts a third-dimensional aspect into a two-dimensional equation.
True. That which we take as a common everyday occurrence is now become uncommon, extraordinary.
Correct. That is your brick.
Thank you. Excellent way to perceive reality.
And an excellent way to finish.
Indeed. Thank you, Omal.
You are welcome.